everybody. It's Dr. Cindy with the Positively Altered podcast. I am a chiropractic internist and nutritionist, and here we love to discuss all things health. Today is not an exception, which you all have learned is always true. But what's really unique is today's guest is going to talk about his weight loss journey of over 220 pounds. And yes, it's doable. You can do it if you're in that position. You can certainly do less. You can certainly do more. He's got a very interesting story, and it dates even back to a loss that we are going to talk about on the podcast today. You do not want to miss this. So take a break, listen to our sponsors, and come back and join us with today's guest, who's going to discuss commitment, core principles, and his weight loss journey.
Hello, my name is Heather Lord, and I am the COO of Professional Health Products. Cutting corners is an all too common practice in the dietary supplement industry. When my father founded Professional Health Products, he sourced the cleanest, most biologically active ingredients from around the globe. Today, that commitment remains, which is why the finest healthcare practitioners, like Dr. Cindy, have trusted us for more than 40 years. We oversee the entire process in our manufacturing facility, from sourcing and formulation to manufacturing and labeling. Today, we offer over 300 unique products that can be tailored to the nutritional and homeopathic needs of each individual. Most recently, we launched a proprietary genetic test, allowing our practitioners to get even more dialed in to their patients' health. To learn more about Professional Health Products, please talk to your practitioner or visit our website at phpltd.com.
Today, your life is going to be altered. I'm Dr. Cindy.
Welcome to Infinity. We have worked hard to create an electronic claims website that is simple and user-friendly. This is the public side. You can log into your personal web portal here. This is your dashboard. You can personalize it to your liking here. Our main focus has been to allow you to submit and edit claims as easy as possible. You will find our claims editor and claims processing is simple to use and straightforward. Our quick action bar is where you can find your most important information. Most of these icons will take you directly to the claims the number represents. You can easily view if you have any messages in your inbox of any unread alerts by looking for these blue numbers. To view the rest of our training videos to get the most of your Infinity experience, click this icon. We hope you find this web portal simple and easy to use. Thanks for letting us serve you.
I'm Dr. Cindy. Who wouldn't want to join me for the Positively Altered podcast? And we're back. Thank you for taking a quick listen to our sponsors. As you know, they are extremely important to us. I am your host, Dr. Cindy. This is the Positively Altered podcast, and I want to introduce you to an amazing human being that has a fantastic story and is going to talk to us about a word that resonates very deeply to me, and that word is empowerment. Stanley Bronstein, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, doctor.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be fun and really inspirational. And if it isn't, well, then you weren't paying attention. So
it will be.
Absolutely. All right.
Guaranteed.
I love that. What did I just guarantee, Stanley? This is like,
I guaranteed it.
Okay. Stanley guaranteed it. At the end, we will inform you how you reach Stanley, just in case you did not get the promise that he delivered. All right. I want to read something, Stanley, and then I want to dive in. You have some core principles that you believe deeply in and you teach. They are integrity, discipline, persistence, long-term thinking, emotional strength, balance, alignment of mind, body, and spirit. Okay, I'm going to pause for just a second because when I read that, I was exhausted. And I was exhausted from the standpoint of like, oh my goodness, that's a lot for me to sit back and evaluate to see if I am living my life by these core principles. So I'm going to throw this back at you and go, okay, where do we start with this list?
Okay, I'm going to make it easier for you. This is not the kind of thing where you flip a light switch and all of a sudden you're living your life by these principles. These are principles that you work toward, and you are in a constant process of evolution, a constant evolutionary process. When I started on first of all, I am in year 18 of my process. So if you would have told me 18 years ago that I instantly had to become the person I am today, I would have freaked out and I would have quit and I wouldn't have done it either. But what has happened is by taking baby steps and getting started and continuing and going and going and going and going and never stopping, sometimes failing, but always hopping back on the wagon and getting going again, persistence. This is what I have evolved into over 17 plus years.
I love this. So let's go back because you were clearly a little bit older than 18. And
Yes.
I don't have to ask you how old you are, but just for the people listening.
You can. I'm 66.
66. Okay, awesome. So 18 years, not your whole entire life, but take me back the 18 years then to the story, the impetus. Yes.
When I was getting ready to turn 50, 17, little over 17 years ago, I was getting ready to turn February 50, and it was a February 1st. Now, please note it was not January 1st. And the reason why it was not January 1st was because I made New Year's resolutions and I did not keep them like so many people do. But this time I did something different. I said, okay, it's February 1st. I can start now. And then that time when I got started, I never stopped. That was what was different. So 4 months before my 50th birthday, February 1st, 2009, I woke up. At the time, I weighed 320 pounds. But if you go back to when I was like 28 or 29, I used to be 367 pounds. As you can see in the picture, I was 5'7". I'm 5'7". I had a 58-inch waist, and I was a big boy. Now I have a 31-inch waist. No drugs, no surgeries. So February 1st, 2009, I was 320 at the time, not quite my max, but still pretty big. I asked myself, where am I going to be in 5 years if I keep doing what I'm doing? Care to guess what the answer was?
I'm pretty sure we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Dead. And guess what? I decided I didn't want to be dead. So I said, time to make some changes. So I started thinking, what are these changes going to be? I came up with 4 that I did in the beginning. First one was, I don't know if I was an alcoholic or not, but I was drinking scotch every day. And I was definitely drinking too much. And I was definitely serving the scotch and it was not serving me. So I took my last bottle of scotch. I believe in symbolism. I poured it down the toilet. I hit flush, gone. I've not had a drink in 17 years. Do not miss it. And actually, I found it pretty easy to kick scotch. And I want to talk about that for just a few seconds. I think it's because I was not physically addicted to the alcohol. I was emotionally addicted to it. And I'm not a doctor here, but it is my experience and my opinion that when you're emotionally addicted to something, it's easier to kick it than if you're physically addicted. Because, it's not like heroin or cigarettes or coffee, or something like that. I didn't have withdrawal symptoms. I just missed it, but I lived, I'm fine. Okay. Next thing, emotional addiction number 2. Those 2-liter bottles of soda pop, I was drinking 3 a day, but they were diet caffeine free. So surely they were healthy, right?
That's what they want us to believe.
Yes, that's what they want us to believe. It's all about the money, the money, the money, the money.
Yes.
So no, that's not good. So I took my last bottle of soda pop down the toilet, flush, gone. Haven't had one in 17 years. Now, then I said, I'm going to make a food change. I liked at the time, I loved chicken and turkey. So I said, I'm going to quit eating red meat, beef and pork. And that was actually a very interesting experience for me because my father was a butcher and I grew up in a home with unlimited free meat.
Uh-huh.
So to quit eating beef and pork, that was something. But the funny thing is I can still taste it now just talking about it. So that's one thing I've learned is that you can taste food without putting it in your mouth. You can smoke a cigarette without lighting it. You can drink alcohol without drinking it. You can do all those things. It's a lot of it's in your head. So I quit eating red meat. Then I said, I need to start moving. So I said, walking is going to be my exercise of choice. And I picked walking because I figured it was easier. You could do it anywhere, anytime. You didn't need a lot of special equipment. And I figured it would beat my body up less than anything else. Little did I know how prophetic my words were. So I started walking. And in the beginning, I had trouble walking 2 or 3 blocks because I was so big and it was tough. I found a gym that was open 24 hours and they had a pool. And I went there in the middle of the night. And when it was empty, and I would walk laps in the pool, 30 minutes, then an hour, then 2 hours, 3 hours. I set a goal to do a 5-hour pool walk on my 50th birthday.
Great.
By the time I got to my 50th birthday, I did the 5-hour pool walk, no problem. And I had lost about 50 pounds by then.
Okay.
So I kept going. Then over time, I started walking outside and my walking activities began picking up extensively. And I mean, really picking up. I got to the point where I was walking 10 to 15 miles on a lot of days, a lot. And that's because I built a lifestyle for myself where I could still get my work done and walk. I put a computer on a treadmill in my house. Mm-hmm. I can walk slowly. I can type. I can get stuff done. I can walk outside as long as I have my cell phone. I can get work done. A lot of things like that. So I started doing that. And then eventually about 4 or 5 years into the process, I said, I'm going to go vegetarian. I gave up chicken and turkey. Still was eating eggs, still eating dairy, cheese, that kind of stuff. Lost more weight. Then I got a few years into that process. About 7 years ago, I was still 180 pounds. And I could not get my weight below 180 pounds, all while I was walking 10 to 15 miles every day.
Wow.
So I said, if I'm walking that much every day and I can't lose weight, that told me a few things. First thing is you can't exercise your way out of a poor diet. That's one of the things I've learned. I saw an article around New Year's that said, I want to lose 20 pounds. How much walking do I need to do to lose 20 pounds? Well, the answer is if you eat a crappy diet, I don't care how much walking you do, you're not going to lose the 20 pounds.
Yes.
So it was a faulty question. So I said, what am I doing wrong here? I analyzed it. And I said, I'm going to stop eating butter, cheese, and ice cream. And man, those are 3 big loves of many people's lives. Butter, cheese, and ice cream. But I make other forms of ice cream. I take bananas and put them in a blender and make ice cream.
Uh-huh.
They call it nice cream.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so I gave those up. I lost 50 pounds in like 5 minutes. I mean, I melted when I did that. It was like I'd get on the scale every morning, lost a pound, lost a pound, lost a pound, lost a pound. Those were fun days. I enjoyed that. So I kept going. Now, I want to quote a few statistics here. Since the day I went vegetarian, which was a little over 12 years ago, I have been sick 1 time. And that was for 3 days. And my definition of being sick is if I am too sick to get up and walk 2 or more hours on a given day, I'm sick. So for the last 12 plus years, I have walked 2 or more hours every day except for 3 days 8 years ago. I am on an 8-year streak of walking 2 or more hours every day. Since I went vegan, and in the beginning I was vegan but still eating processed food. Now I'm vegan and I don't eat processed food. They call that whole food plant-based. Mm-hmm. Since the day I went vegan, I have not been sick once. I got exposed to COVID. My wife caught it in the airport and brought it home. Uh-huh. My body threw it off. I had 2 days where I felt off, but I never tested positive. I didn't stop doing my exercise and I kept going. So I am a huge believer in the power of nutrition. Extremely big believer in that. What was it? Hippocrates so that food be like medicine and medicine be like food.
Yes.
Um,
If we ate
so
properly, Stanley, most medicine could go away.
yes. Well, do you want me to tell you what I recommend for people? Here's the 4 things I recommend for people.
Okay.
And if most people, and if every able-bodied person would do these 4 things, I could guarantee you that healthcare costs in the United States and around the world would plummet.
Well,
Okay.
they don't want that, but let's give people what you're thinking anyway.
I don't care what they want. I care what I want.
All right,
You
let's
know,
go through the 4 things.
eat less processed food.
How about none? I'm going to back you on that.
I agree, none. But the problem is most people are, especially when they're starting, are not willing to do that.
Okay.
That's why I tell people less. You know, less McDonald's, less Burger King, less frozen pizza. You know, less garbage food. Less. None is better. Yeah. You know, but there you go. Eat more fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains, whole food, real food. Which, by the way, before we go, there's my hydroponic garden over there.
Oh, fun. That's great.
That I have okay. So far, I've gotten about 10 salads out of it. So they've cost me about $100 each.
It's worth it.
Yeah, it's going very well. It's going to do great. I'm figuring it out. Okay. Number 2, quit eating 4 to 5 hours before you go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say that is there's a process called autophagy, which you've probably heard of. If you give your body 12, 13, 14 hours with no food, your body begins to cleanse itself, clean itself out, cleanse its cells. You start healing from the inside. So if you go 4 or 5 hours before you go to sleep with no food, and then you sleep 6, 7, 8 hours, that'll be your 12, 13, 14 hours right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then eat a healthy breakfast when you wake up, and you're off to the races. If you want my definition of healthy breakfast, I love plain oatmeal with fruit and stuff like that in it. Chia seed, hemp seed, flax seed, that type of stuff. Okay. Now, walk at least 20 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm.
I do a heck of a lot more than that.
You do.
But if most people, I walk 5, 6 hours every day.
Okay.
And why do I do that? It's not because I'm nuts. It's because I can. And we're going to get into that in just a minute.
Okay.
But walk at least 20 minutes a day. That's it. That's all you got to do. If you can do more, wonderful. And if you can't do 20, do 10.
Mm-hmm.
Do what you can do.
Right.
Get
Just started.
Get started. And then set aside 15 minutes every day for yourself. Go in a quiet room. If you like to pray. If you want to meditate. If you just want quiet, go for quiet. But 15 minutes a day for yourself at least. If you will do 15 minutes a day, every day, that's more than 90 hours over the course of a year. That's more than 2 work weeks devoted to you, yourself. If people would do those 4 things, eat less processed food or none and more natural food, quit eating 4 to 5 hours before you go to bed, walk at least 20 minutes a day, set aside 15 minutes a day for yourself, we would be a lot healthier.
Listen, you're preaching to the choir here, Stanley. I mean, I've been in practice for 27 years and, we teach this all the time. All right. I want to go back even further a little bit because I'm curious. You woke up one day and you decided you didn't want to be dead.
Yep.
I have a 2-part question for you. One is, where do you feel in your life you were affected in such that your weight got out of control in the first place? And 2, why do you think it was that age versus 10 years prior that you didn't have that thought?
September 13th, 1967, 8 years old, my mother died. Needless to say, that messed with my head big time. I shut down emotionally. I did not cry. I did nothing. And nobody around me realized that. Back then they didn't send kids to therapy. Nobody realized it. And I was living with my father, who was massively obese. 5th grade education. He didn't know how to eat properly. All he knew was to work hard and to provide for his family, and he did a good job of that. And we both you look at the pictures, we both just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay. Men like to say they're the same size they were when they got married.
Yes. Girls like to say that too, Stanley.
Well, and I found pictures to prove this. I am smaller than I was at my bar mitzvah when I was 13 years old.
Okay.
And noticeably smaller.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if that's wonderful, great, sick, or whatever. It's probably a little bit of all those things, but it is the truth. So yeah, it messed with me. And I had times where I would lose weight, but then I would go back to my old habits and boom, the weight would come right back on. So one of the things I learned was temporary changes are going to give you temporary results. Permanent changes are going to give you permanent results. It wasn't until February 1st, 2009, when I began to permanently change that the results I got were permanent. That's why they've stuck.
Yes. Now, did your father make some changes as a result of seeing what you walked through?
No. First of all, he wasn't alive when this happened. He died back in like 1985. But if I knew and I've told my older brother this is whole food plant-based also. He's 81.
Okay. Oh, great.
And so we're both, big believers in this. If I knew what I knew now, I could have very easily just made all of my father's food, brought it over to him and said, this is what you eat. My father would have eaten it. He liked all this stuff.
Okay.
He would have eaten it. He wouldn't have argued with me, not in the least bit. And I said, this is what you eat. And if he would have done that, not only would I have probably added, he died when he was 85. Not only would I have probably added 10 years to his life, I would have increased his health span also, because the last 10 years of his life weren't the greatest. He had heart issues and things like that, and a lot of carrying all the weight, had trouble walking. And I could have easily, because he had the genetics, I could have very easily added years to his life, quality years, but I didn't know what I know.
Right. Now, I get the permanent change, and I agree with you 100%, right? We don't fix things for a few minutes and then expect to go back to old habits and keep them.
Nope.
But let's talk about some realistic thoughts that a lot of people out there are probably having, right? And it's this concept of cheating, or where do we allow ourselves some grace if we fall off the wagon? And how important was it for you to either A, experience that and get back on, or not allow yourself to even do that in order to stay consistent?
Okay. Good question. I'll tell you my process. Once again, I want to emphasize my process was an evolutionary process. Where I was in the beginning is not where I am today. Okay. In the beginning, I had good days, bad days. In terms of cheating, I never drank scotch again, so that wasn't a problem. I never drank the soda pop again. That wasn't a problem. But I had days where I ate crappy food, or stuff I shouldn't eat. The whole point is fall down 7 times, get up 8.
Okay.
When you fall down, get back up. Don't beat yourself upside the head. Don't punish yourself. Don't shame yourself. Don't blame yourself. Say, I screwed up. I'm going to do better tomorrow. I have a saying, beat yesterday. Your goal is to be better today than you were yesterday, better tomorrow than you are today. I am in year 18 of beating yesterday, which is how this person became this person. Same DNA, not the same person. Now, first of all, my system that I put together, I put together a system around this whole thing to help people. It's called, I'll just short real quickly, but it's called the Way of Excellence.
Okay.
And the reason why it is called excellence is because the goal is not perfection. The goal is excellence. And you know why the goal is not perfection? Because we are human beings. We are going to mess up. I guarantee you, I gave you a guarantee in the beginning. I'll give you another guarantee right here.
Okay.
You're going to mess up, and you're going to mess up big time.
Okay. I agree.
The question is, what are you going to do? Are you going to say, I messed up, I'm no good, I'm a failure, I suck, and then go back to your old habits? Or are you going to say, I messed up big time, I'm going to do better now?
Right. The beauty is we get to wake up tomorrow with another chance.
Yes. I told you fall down 7 times, get up 8.
Yes.
Well, I've probably fallen down 1,000 times and gotten up 1,001.
Okay.
Yeah. As long as you keep going.
Yeah, I think there was a movie, Stanley. I think, Sylvester Stallone and Rocky Balboa. I think there was a
Yeah.
little bit of that going on, right? Back in that
Yeah.
time frame.
Yeah. But I'll tell you my role model.
Okay.
My role model is the snail.
Okay.
They're steady, diligent, persistent. They get where they're going no matter how long it takes. That is me. Get started and keep going. Never stop. That is the secret. And I'm going to tell you something else. There's a misnomer out there. Everybody says this is hard. That's BS. It's easier than you think. It's 90% between your ears.
Mm-hmm.
It's what's in your head. And that's one of the problems. The drug companies tell us, oh, it's hard. Take our shots, make it easier.
Right.
The surgeons, oh, it's hard. We'll give you the surgery, makes it easy.
Your second half of the sentence is what was essential. It's not that it's hard or it's easy. It's the what do you think part of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
what you think and the message that you deliver to your brain so that your brain understands what needs to be accomplished. And when you say it hard or it's easy, it's true because you've delivered that message.
Yes. And we are being fed, force fed, false. These are my opinions here. We're being force fed, false, manipulative issues designed by people who want to make money off of us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to make a statement here.
Okay.
So far in this podcast, I have not asked you for money.
Right.
I do not intend to ask people for money.
Okay.
All the resources that are on my website, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes, they are free. You can download them for free. I mean, that's not that I don't like money. It's not that I don't have people hire me to help them privately. I do. That's all
Right.
fine. And you can do that, but you don't have to because the message is more important than the money.
Mm-hmm.
And the message is empowerment. See, what I've done taught me two things and led me to ask an important question. First thing it taught me was I am more powerful than I ever imagined. Way more powerful than I ever imagined. That's why I walk as much as I do. You know why I do? Because I'm looking for my limits and I haven't found them yet. I do it because I can. Good Lord. I mean, to give people how much walking, here's what I did just last year. Imagine I started out in Los Angeles.
Okay.
I made it within 300 miles of London.
Wow.
I ended up in the middle of the Atlantic, but I can swim, so I'm okay.
Well, you can count the swimming, I think, as your miles too.
Yeah. But the point is, over the last 17 years, I'm on pace. By the time I hit my birthday in June, I will have walked around the earth at the equator 3 times.
So do you ever consider doing that? Well, you can't really walk around the equator, right? But have you ever considered a long walking trip? You see those stories of people that do that?
Yeah, I have. But the problem is I'm married.
Oh,
If I were single, I would do it. I'm married and I have dogs to take care of. If I had no dogs to take care of and I wasn't married, I would do that in a heartbeat.
I don't know, Stanley. I think you put the dogs in an RV, let the wife drive it to wherever you're walking to. You have a lovely dinner. You settle down for the night, and then she's in the RV with the dogs. You do your walk.
Actually, I have a different idea.
Okay.
What I was going to do, I had something I was going to do called the treadmill truck.
Okay.
I was going to put a treadmill in the back of the truck and put signage on it and hire somebody to drive me around the country while I'm walking on the treadmill in the back of the truck. That's what I was going to do. That would get attention.
It would definitely get attention. You would be able to deliver this message to way more people. There's no doubt about it.
Well, I might do some of these. You never know. I'm still young, 66. See, that's one of the benefits. I just had my physical about a month ago. And I had my blood work done again. I do it every 6 months because I want to see where I'm at. I'll put my numbers up against any 30-year-old.
Sure.
And I think they'll beat most 30-year-olds.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. With the way you eat and the exercise that you do, we know, I've always said this, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to go out of business. But if people would just do exactly what you have done, they really wouldn't need me.
No, There
I'd have
wasn't.
to get a new career.
No, you'd be teaching people how to do what I've done.
Yeah, well, I do that, Stanley.
I know.
We just don't all listen.
You would continue doing it. I understand. But that's one other thing I want to emphasize. See, when I started out, I didn't do what I said
Okay.
all the time. But over time, my level of commitment grew deeper and deeper and deeper as I began feeling better and better and better. Now I have what I call, one of the concepts of my system is called commitment. When you become 100% committed to something, it becomes easier. For example, I am 100% committed that no unhealthy food is going to enter my mouth. So, week before Christmas, Laura I worked with had cupcakes and cookies delivered to my house. They obviously didn't know my eating habits, and they were delivered. I accepted them. I said, thank you. I did not ask myself, could I eat these? I didn't ask myself, should I eat these or can I eat just one? The answer is I could. I mean, back in the beginning, many years ago, there were times I lost weight where, I remember one of the first times I lost a bunch of weight, I went on a road trip and there were cookies in the back seat, and the cookies and I had an intimate love affair. And I put all the weight back on plus more. So back then I obviously couldn't control it. Now I could control it. If you wanted to give me a shot of scotch and drink one shot of scotch, I could. If I wanted to drink one soda pop, I could. If I wanted to eat one cookie or one cupcake, I could. But the reality is I have no business doing those things. I've already had my lifetime share of that stuff, plus your lifetime share of that stuff, plus 20 other people's. I have no business with that stuff. So I don't do it. I am 100% committed to not doing it. I'm 100% committed to walking every day. It's not negotiable. And I know we're about out of time, but if you want me to tell you a very empowering story that I think your listeners would love, I'll tell you where I learned that from.
Okay. Let's do that before we take a commercial break, because now you can't tease them, Stanley, and not give them what you told them you give them.
I'll just make them come back after the commercial break.
No, let's do it before the commercial break because we've got something else to get done afterward.
Okay, here we go. When I first started on this, I had days where I woke up, I didn't want to do this. I don't feel like walking. I don't want to go. Ugh, I'm tired. I don't want to do it. Well, I remembered a woman I had met 2 years earlier in 2007 named Peggy Chun. Peggy was an artist. She's since long passed away. When I met her in 2007, she had Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. She lived in Honolulu, Hawaii. She was completely bedridden, on a ventilator, could not move, could not speak. The only way she could communicate was trained people could hold up an eye chart and they could read her eye movements. She could spell out words. I was interviewing her for a book I was writing. It was the very beginning of a cross-country driving trip. I was going to drive around the whole United States and interview 50 people for a book I was writing. When I met Peggy and I saw her in that state, the thought that went through my mind was, if I ever get like that, please put a pillow over my head and take me out. That's what I thought. But guess what? That was not Peggy's attitude. Peggy's attitude was, my grandkids are coming over later today. It's a beautiful sunny day. They're going to take me outside and we're going to paint together. You're getting ready to drive around the country and you're going to meet these 50 incredible people. Tell me all about them. I want to hear their stories. I wish I could go with you. That was what she told me. So this woman who was in a state where I would want to be dead had more joy for life than any person I've ever met in my entire 66 years.
And if that doesn't make us sit back and rethink about what we think.
Well, let me tell you what I did about that. So when I had a morning, I didn't want to get up. They say, what would Jesus do? Mm-hmm. I started saying, what would Peggy Chun do? And I said, the answer is Peggy Chun would have gotten her lazy butt out of bed and she'd have gone for that walk and she would have been having so much fun she might not ever come back. So anytime I didn't feel like walking, I said, this one's for you, Peggy. And I got up and I went for that walk. So the whole point is, one of the principles of my system, number 6, is you don't have to do anything. You get to do everything. If you are alive and breathing, it is your privilege. You get to do it. That makes it easier.
It makes it easier. It makes it perfect. And I love the fact that
No, it makes it excellent.
Listening.
It makes it excellent. There is no perfection.
Makes it excellent.
It makes it excellent.
I am corrected. It makes it excellent. But I love the fact that even without meeting her, we all now have a role model in Peggy. Let's take a quick commercial break. We are going to be right back with Stanley Bronstein. We are going to have some fun with just some rapid fire questions. This is your weekly dose of Dr. Cindy, the Positively Altered podcast. Stop. Hit that follow button now and spread the love with Positively Altered. And we are back after a fun commercial break with Stanley Bronstein, who has taught me how to be a little more excellent instead of being a little more perfect today. Stanley, we're going to do some rapid fire questions. You ready?
Sure.
Okay, we'll see how fast we can go. I never fast, by the way. They're not really rapid. We can take as much time as we need. All right, first one. What is one place on earth you have never been you would love to see?
Australia and New Zealand.
Great.
And we're probably going to go there next year.
Nice. And you're going to do lots of walking.
Absolutely.
Lots of walking. There's so many great things to see. All right. This is a great one, I think, especially since you've changed your diet. What is the weirdest food combination you eat?
Well, I'll tell you what I had this morning.
Okay.
It started out with soy milk with chia seed, hemp seed, flax seed, and 3 or 4 kinds of fruit in it, all blended together to get thick to turn into a pudding. Had some of that. Then I ate some 8-grain mix with 8 different kinds of grains that are all higher in protein than brown rice. Then on top of that, I put my 8-bean mix, 8 different kinds of beans in it that also has red peppers, orange peppers, yellow peppers, onion, all that in there. Then I add fermented black garlic on top of that I put in, that I make myself. That's really delicious. And then I topped it all up with some dates dipped in homemade cashew butter. So now, if that's not a weird combination, I don't know what is. It's a little bit of everything. That's kind of a kitchen sink meal.
It does feel a little labor intensive.
No, but it's easier. It's much easier than you think. I make these things. It's good for a week,
right?
Week or two. Right. So I put it in the freezer. It's done.
I love it. There's a lot of things you rattled off that I definitely consume. I don't know that I've ever put them in one meal together quite like you have.
Well, I intermittent fast. I eat during a 4-hour window.
Yes. Yeah. So you got to get everything in the one concoction.
Yeah. And I consume a lot of calories, but I don't count calories.
Right.
Because I'm a believer that if you only put healthy food in your mouth and you quit eating when you're full, you don't need to count calories.
Right. No, the body utilizes what it needs and produces the waste material appropriately, and you don't retain that.
Yes.
No, absolutely. All right. You can only have 3 apps on your phone for the rest of your life. What 3 apps do you keep?
Notion, which I use for my organizational stuff. Email app and Zoom.
Great. If you could create a brand new holiday, what would we celebrate?
All Stanley's Day.
Also,
First time anybody's ever answered it that way, right?
you'd be surprised at some of the answers we get. Okay, so all Stanley's Day, what day are you picking out of the year? Because we're going to put that on our calendar.
That's February 1st, 2009.
Okay, well,
No,
can we do it every year, though, February 1st?
Okay, sorry, February 1st every year, all Stanley's Day, and that's the day where every single person on the face of the earth eats nothing but healthy food.
I love that. And then hopefully continues.
Yeah.
I would love to start that trend.
One day at a time, my friend. And you want to start that trend? Stay my friend and stick with me because I'm working on it.
All right, you got it. Listen, we're connected. We're connected. Stanley, what was your favorite thing about doing the podcast today?
You're nice.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're pleasant. You're a quality person. See, I talk about only putting healthy food in your mouth. I apply that standard to all inputs. Mm-hmm. Only allowing healthy thoughts in your head, making sure you create a healthy environment around yourself so everything around you is healthy, and to the best you can, only hanging around healthy, good, quality people. That's one of the reasons I enjoy speaking with you, is because you are a good, high quality person.
Well, thank you, Stanley. And I'm going to continue to work on my principles as well, because I'm on a journey. I'm going to live to be about 112, I keep saying. So I'm at about midlife. I've got quite a few years to continue to.
Well, I had somebody, it's funny. Okay, you say midlife. I want to tell you about this. Okay.
Yeah.
I told somebody the other day, they talked about, I told them, first of all, I can't stand the phrase second half of life. That's garbage, because you're basically telling yourself that you're going to only live so long, and that's ridiculous. Then I told them I'm not a big fan of midlife, but they gave me a different definition of midlife.
Okay.
They said if you're between birth and death, then you're midlife.
That's true. But I'm okay if I make it to 112, actually. I'm actually pretty happy with that number.
I'm shooting for I want to see the 22nd century, which means I will be 140.
Okay. Listen, there's no reason we both can't reach our goals. Stanley, how does everybody find you, get access to the content? Give us all the goods.
You go to my website, thewayofexcellence.com. Please put that in the show notes.
We will.
thewayofexcellence.com. You go there. There's a contact form at the bottom of the page if you want to contact me. And there's the main page. When you go there, it's got videos on the entire system. It's 20 concepts. Basically, I recommend you watch one video a day. They're 8 to 12 minutes. If you watch one a day, in less than a month, you'll learn the whole system.
Excellent.
Then I have on there's another tab, guidebooks. And they're full-length books on 15 different subjects. So there's a lot of information up there. Things like gratitude, long-term thinking. You mentioned long-term thinking. I've learned to think in decades, but act daily. Mm-hmm. Realize that your short-term actions have long-term consequences. But books on a variety of subjects. Read the books. And then there's one last tab. It's all on healthy weight loss, nutrition, mindset, a bunch of other videos, how to build a new identity for yourself. That all those kind of things.
I love this. Stanley, I will tell you, my favorite thing about the podcast today was reframing my mindset a little bit to include the word excellence and just appreciating and learning your principles. And it's been an absolute joy. I love your passion. I love your commitment. I think that is absolutely just magical. You've been just a true star here on the podcast. If you would like to learn more about what we are doing here, please feel free to check out my website at drscindyspeaks.com. And there is a tab on my website where you can join my not so daily dose newsletter, meaning we don't bombard you every single day, but we love to get you some really good content. If you would like to be part of our community, feel free to send us an email at hello@drscindyspeaks.com. We'd love to hear from you. And make sure you check us out on YouTube. Some of the podcasts in short form will be there, so you can check out previous episodes and see if you want to join and learn from all of our guests. It has been a fantastic podcast. Stanley Bronstein, again, thank you very much for your time and your commitment. I hope today has left all of you positively altered.